welcome to Alaska EdVenture, hosted by Dr. Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. This award-winning podcast is your gateway to the heart of Alaska's educational landscape. In each episode, we'll explore the unique perspectives of guests who are shaping education in the last frontier. Join us on Alaska EdVenture as we share the insights and inspirations found in Alaska's K-12 classrooms.
Welcome back, or welcome to the Alaska EdVenture podcast. I'm Dr. Luke Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. And today I am at Effie Kokrine Charter School and super excited to have a conversation with students that have been working hard on a moose tanning project as well as some other cultural projects within the school, and really excited for the conversation today. So we'll start with some introductions and we'll just go down the line. If you can introduce who you are, what your grade level is, and something that's interesting that brought you to Effie.
My name is Sam Ongtagut-Gerritz. I'm a senior, and I think what initially brought me to Effie was the focus on culture.
Awesome, thank you.
My name is Andrea Moses. I'm a junior, and what brought me to Effie is because most of my family came here for high school.
Uvanya Ataga Miuk. Miuk is my Inupiaq name. My White Fox name is Nevaeh Offerman. I'm a junior here at Effie, and my mom forced me to come here at first, and I didn't want to be here. But as time's gone on, I noticed how lucky I am to even be here, and I really enjoy it.
Well, thanks for that push, Mom. It's good to have you here.
Dawinda Nakoya Wheel Saudza, Dahun Danaka Baini Sizni. Hi, my name is Nakoya Wheel, and my native name is Baini, which means to come together. And I have 3 older sisters who went to school here all 4 years, graduated, and now it's my turn.
Hi, my name is Nishon Atla. Me and my family come from Huslia and a pueblo named Jemez Pueblo in Mexico. My mom is Tani Atla. My grandma is Marilyn Atla. My late grandpa is Jimmy Simpson from New Mexico. And my late grandpa on the other side of my family is George Atla. And I'm a senior this year. And originally it was either coming here to Effie or going to Mount Edgecombe. And that was just something that at the time I didn't think I was ready for, was to move away from my home and my family and my friends. So I decided to make the decision to stay here, go to Effie.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you here, and super excited that all the students from Effie make it such a rich and welcoming place. And so we have viewers and listeners from around the country and around the world. And so can you give them a bit of an idea of what makes Effie special and a little bit different than some other schools in the Fairbanks North Starborough School District?
I think what really makes Effie special is the opportunities that we get to be part of the community or any cultural learning that we get to do. So in the community, we get to do potlatches like at the tribal hall, for like anything. We volunteer, and it's really fun.
Absolutely. And for those that don't know, what is a potlatch?
A potlatch is like a gathering with food. It's kind of like a feast. Mm-hmm. You just have fun. There's dancing, there's singing. The best part is the food.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and it's free.
And some other thoughts on things that make Effie unique or special?
We're just like one big family. That's something that Mr. Snell likes to say all the time, that even the people who aren't family, everyone's family here. Like I have cousins, mm-hmm. and the people who you just meet become your family.
I would agree. Even though I'm not here on a super regular basis, I spent most of my career in rural Alaska down on the Aleutian Chain, and then also spent quite a bit of time with the Yukon-Koyukuk School District. And so this really feels like a lot of those schools that I grew up in and spent time in, and now have the pleasure of working with. And definitely a family environment here at Effie that I think is pretty special. So what are some of the cultural projects? We'll definitely talk about the moose tanning a little later, but what are some other cultural projects that you get to do throughout the year?
So with the moose hide tanning, we also bring in a lot of animals to butcher. That's one of the things that we do for the potlatches. We've got a potlatch coming up this Friday, and a lot of people are donating moose meat. And so sometimes students who grew up in cities and don't have a chance to learn how to butcher a moose get to during school.
That's awesome. What are some other animals that you guys haven't had an opportunity to butcher and work with?
Just fish.
Yeah, that's great. And why do you think those skills are important to have in school along with like the academic skills that you're learning?
It really connects you to your culture and heritage. So that's a really big part of it. But also it's to kind of let you be part of something, to contribute and just learn.
Awesome. And we'll get into the moose tanning process. I want to dive deep into that, but would like to talk about a few other things first. One of the pieces, cultural values, are ingrained in the education that you get here at Effie, and how does that show up in your learning from day to day?
Well, for cultural values, humor is a really big part of it here. Everyone likes to joke around. The teachers, we all have jokes for each other, and they really bring the classes to life. So it's never really dull or boring unless we have notes. Notes are the only thing. But in family and culture, those are the two biggest values that are shown, I think. The culture is shown in the activities we do and what we learn in classes. So, yeah.
And one of those activities, every year there's a big race that's called the Memorial Tea Race. Has anybody participated in that in the past, and what is that?
Yeah, so the Memorial Tea Race is not just a tea race, but it's also a snowshoe tea race. And so the first part of the race is a relay race on snowshoes, and it's a team of 3, and they just race around a short loop. There's 2 short loop runners, and then the last runner in the relay runs the long loop. And then at the end of the long loop, all of the teams will meet in one spot, and that's the fire building. And then after a team has completed their fire building and, the fire's going, that's when they start the tea race. And that's the first team to make a cup of tea and present it to an elder and gets their approval wins. First place anyways.
Oh, that's amazing. Have all of you participated in that? Yeah. And are there other schools in the district that participate, or is it just Effie?
There's other schools.
It's the other charter schools like Watershed. I just remember that being one of the big ones, but there was some others too.
There's it's all the other charter schools. So there's Discovery Peak,
Okay.
Watershed, Chinook, and yeah, it's just middle schools.
Okay. And do you all get to snowshoe throughout the winter, or is it usually just for the tea race?
Some classes, during our advisory time, we'll start just practicing snowshoeing, because after the main one with all the middle schools coming in, we'll have our potlatch, and then we'll have another tea race with all the different advisories. So the juniors will have a class, seniors, everyone will have a team.
I love that. When I talk to my friends from the lower 48, they're always so surprised and jealous that you get the opportunity to snowshoe and sometimes ski during the school day, because that's a pretty unique experience, I think, to students in Alaska. So I do want to dive into the moose tanning process. I know you've done a couple of moose now, and you've had various presentations throughout our community that have been really well received. And so can you talk a little bit about the process and what that's like for each of you, and why it's important to be a part of that process?
Yeah, so I would just like to say that the process really starts when you go out and you just go look around for some moose, And once you get a moose, the real start now is actually skinning it and preparing it well enough to be tanned, because there are certain certain things that are needed in order to make the process a little easier. Like, for instance, not leaving any knife marks, enough meat on the hide so it's easy when we're fleshing it to pull against it in the membrane. And when those components are added in to skinning it, it makes it a lot easier down the road. And it's just a big help when tanning of the hide is a part. It's in like the back of your mind when you're going out and looking for your moose and actually getting it. And man, it's just, it can be really difficult sometimes without it, but it's definitely doable. Just got to put a little more elbow grease in there, but it's not a problem.
It's hard work, right?
I wouldn't really even call it hard work. I would just say, yeah. Our mentor, Tom Huntington, he would always just say, it's not hard work. It's just an honest effort's work.
I love that.
And I really think that's honestly what it is. I wouldn't say there's a hard part, but yeah.
Well, you're tougher than me because I've packed out some animals at times, and I feel like it's hard work putting the hind quarter on your back and hiking with it. But love to hear about this process. And you mentioned one elder or one mentor that's been helping you with the tanning process. Are there other mentors or elders that have been helping you guys?
So again, with one of these hides here, actually the one in the back right there, me, Seneca, my cousin Seneca, and Josh actually went out with some rural services students from UAF, and we went out and got that moose. And again, the whole process really started as soon as we were out there, and we had that tanning process in the back of our minds. But anyways, I would say Carlton Hutla, he was like the leader of that hunt, and he was definitely a mentor for at least me when going into this, along with Tom Huntington, Sam Alexander. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you to the mentors and the elders that have helped with this. I think it's an amazingly important skill, and without being able to pass that down, then you all wouldn't have had these experiences. I'm really excited. I'm hopeful that now that you all are getting proficient at doing some of these processes, that you'll also consider passing that down to younger siblings and younger students. The moose that you were talking about that with the Rural Field Services, was that just this past fall, or when did you harvest that moose?
That was, it's actually coming up a year from now in February. That's when they got their cultural permit, and Josh heard about that, and he just asked if some students and he could tag along, and yeah, me and Seneca jumped at that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Did anybody go hunting this fall?
I did.
Everybody? Almost everybody? A few of you? No? Okay. Were you successful in your hunts this fall?
No, I wasn't really successful. We had just lost a family member, so nobody was really doing good at the time.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, but it's still good to be out with family and friends and enjoying Alaska. So what are some challenges you've faced as you've worked through this process together?
So like Nishon said, one of the biggest challenges that we faced, we're currently fleshing a hide that we got from Nevaeh, and there's quite a lot of knife marks in it, and so that's definitely the most difficult part. But one of the things that we had done in the past is we had a paddle making class, and you can make paddles that are specifically for the purpose of skinning a moose. That way you don't have any knife marks in it. And so I'm hoping that's something that will be a possibility in the future.
That's great. Because what do you do, I guess, if there are knife marks? Are there ways to work around that, or?
There are ways to work around that, but depending on how deep the knife mark is, it's more than likely just going to become a hole later down the road. Mm-hmm. And even a small hole will, by the end of the process, blow up and be a lot bigger than it originally was. But, you know, that's just something you gotta, you know, like roll with and adapt.
Mm-hmm. And how long does the whole process take? So once it is up on, or once it's here, like how long will that process take for you guys to work through?
So for us, we are working in between classes. We leave some classes and have to make up that work as homework.
Mm-hmm.
So we do take a little bit longer than it would normally. Tom Huntington would tell us it takes him about 120 hours for one hide.
Wow.
But he puts in, I think he said 2 hours at most every day.
I think it was
So
like 4 hours or something.
maybe
My
4,
bad.
I don't know. But he doesn't put, like, he only puts a certain amount of hours in a day.
Sure. I mean, that's an impressive amount of hours, though. 2 hours every day. That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
And so the one behind us, that's been something that you guys have been working on throughout the past year. And is it finished, or where are we at in the process with it?
Oh, it's not finished, but it's very close to it. It's not yet all like blanket texture, but some parts definitely are. So we want to wet it and kind of work on that some more until we can actually smoke it.
I love that. That was a good description. Blanket texture, and that's what you're looking for. Is that when you know it's kind of ready to be smoked at that point in time?
Yes, once it's as soft as fabric, it's ready.
Okay. And will we do the smoking here at Effie, or where will that process take place?
Yes, on the last hide that we smoked, which is right here, it's this kind of color from smoking it. We did it right outside this door right here, hanging up over a kind of little, what's it called?
Burn pot.
A burning pot.
And if the fire marshal's listening, I think it was further away from the school.
Oh, yes.
So we were safe,
yes.
right?
Now we have
Right now? So I went to we had a moose hide tanning camp this summer here at Effie, and there was a few people from Canada that came and taught more students from a different school district, one of the rural ones. But they set up a smoking, like, it's like 2 trees put like this, and then there's like another twig going this way, and you hang it from there. I'm so sorry. You hang it from there, and it's out there in the field, and you put a little fire down at the bottom. So I learned how to do it, and I definitely want to teach it to the people who couldn't make it. So I think that's how we might do our next one.
Oh, very nice. And for those that aren't from Fairbanks or aren't aware of where the Howard Luke campus is, it is a beautiful campus set back in woods and feels kind of like you're off the grid, but you are in the middle of the city. But it's beautiful surrounding us and lots of room to do some of these activities. You know, you're not just walking out into a parking lot to do some of this stuff. So that feels good. So what are some key lessons that you might take away from this process into the future? Are there some lessons that you've learned that might help you in the future?
Yeah, there are a couple lessons. I think the most important one is that we talk to our elders. Tom Huntington has been very vital in revitalizing this art. I think it's also really important that we have patience. It takes a long time to make a moose hide, but it's so worth it. And I think teamwork is also a good thing. We're all working together, and we'll have like students during class, they'll come down here and check it out and even help us out. And it just furthers that sense of community.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
I feel like it also teaches you to just go with the flow. Nothing is ever going to turn out the way you want it. There might be some mishaps. So, just work around those little mistakes, happy little mistakes.
I love that.
Yeah, kind of adding to that, it's not a step process, but it kind of is. So depending on what you see from the hide and what you feel from it, you kind of change what you're going to do next.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, no hide is the same as what Tom would say also.
Can you elaborate on that? So like what are some differences between the hides maybe that show up?
Well, it's mainly on just like the condition of the moose. Like that moose, for instance, right there had some scarring on it for some reason. And so you'll notice that if you fold it out, you can see the scars. But there's also just like, depending on just lots of unknown variables and factors, you could have more or less oils and fats within the hide than maybe your last hide did when you're in that same process. And so really that just means, you need to, again, work around that, adapt, overcome. Yeah.
Also, there are some physical attributes that you could see on the moose. If it's blonde, like if the hair is blonder, it might have been a sick moose. So if it was a darker moose, it was probably a much more healthier moose.
And so when the hide is completely done, what's the plan for it after that?
So our first one, we cut it up and gifted it to several elders that have been around here in the school. And as of today, we've all decided as a group we want to donate this one behind us to our senior class for regalia. More or so the seniors that have helped us, these three.
That's amazing.
And then me and Andrea as juniors want to start another one and do our regalia with it. But this one we definitely want to give to the people who have been the most help to us.
I love that. What a great tradition. Maybe you're starting for the senior class to be able to make different regalia out of it. And that's super cool. I hope to be at your guys' graduation this year and see everybody walk across that stage. I think Effie's graduations are incredibly special. They do remind me of, teaching in different villages, and they're very personalized graduations. I love that. We ask our graduates here at Effie to come up and speak to the crowd. And then there's also always a nice slideshow showcasing your young lives and the cool things that you guys have been up to. So, well, we'll bring this conversation to a close, but any kind of remaining thoughts of things that we didn't get to today that you wanted to talk about before we break?
We were going to talk about, there was a workshop we had a little while ago. We were making ulus, which is one of the tools we use. There are they're on the table. Those are ulus, and that's the Inupiaq word for it. An Athabascan word, our word, is clabass. So they're typically the same tool, though. And traditionally, it's a woman's knife.
And have you used that in the moose processing process?
Yeah, we use it to cut up the meat, and the one we use to actually, for that hide, we're using one of these tools to soften it up, and it has little grooves on the edge of the blade instead of a straight blade.
That's awesome. Do you have any upcoming workshops or presentations that people could attend?
Oh, my mom is actually becoming a cultural liaison here and is going to start teaching kids about beading and other cultural projects. She's still trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Last year, her mom, Marianne Wheel, came in and she made drums with a group of students. And she even made us one and drew on it, and it's sitting in the hallway over there. But it was a great experience that we all got to experience.
Along with those, we've also had dream catchers, fishnet making, as someone said before, paddle making. And yeah, I believe those are, yeah.
And then currently, there is a sled being made with a group of boys from the Creative Projects class. So they're making a sled right outside the door.
Awesome. What are they going to do with the sled after it's built? Any big plans for it?
They haven't said anything
Haven't
yet.
said. Okay. Man, a number of cool things happening here at Effie, and I just love to see the different creative outlets that each of our students have and the different classes have, and beautiful artwork and tools on display. Anything else that anybody would like to share before we break? No? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much for your willingness to participate in the conversation. Thank you for your willingness to pass down the skills that you're learning. I heard about a presentation that you all did at the Tanana Chiefs Conference last year, and adults in the community were raving about it. I mean, you were bringing tears to people's eyes, and they were just so proud of the work that you guys are doing. And so thank you for that, and thank you for your willingness to continue to be a big part of Effie and start to pass down new traditions. This has been a really enjoyable conversation for me. And one last thing, I guess, if any students are interested in attending Effie, how do they go about doing that?
I believe there is a enrollment sign at the end of the corner down the street. It has school's phone number and says enroll now. Call that phone number.
Well, generally, when you want to come and be a student here, they have a little interview. It kind of like, where are you from? Are you Native? Do you have connections to Native culture? Do you want to learn about Native culture? Like all kinds of those questions. Like, do you know anyone in the school? But really, it's just like a screening to know if you're a good student. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, and interested in the theme of Effie Kokrine and then ensuring that you're going to be a good participant in those cultural activities. So, okay, well, I'm going to wrap it up for today. This is Dr. Luke Meinert with the Alaska EdVenture podcast, and we were here on site at Effie Kokrine Charter School learning about moose standing and some other cultural projects that the students are up to. So thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for embarking on this Alaska EdVenture with us. Hit that subscribe button and we'll meet you on the next episode.